The paper presents a robust deep learning-based damage identification approach for structural health monitoring (SHM) that considers missing data. It utilizes an autoencoder framework to learn the inner relationships among monitoring data of different channels and extract hidden representations. Long short-term memory (LSTM) is employed to construct the encoder and decoder module, with data reconstruction error used as the loss function and damage indicator. In the training process, channels of the inputs are randomly dropped to simulate the missing data, and the LSTM structured autoencoder model attempts to reconstruct the data of all channels. The SHM for the cable tension data, which was released in the first IPC-SHM, International Project Competition for Structural Health Monitoring, is used as validation. The paper is organized as follows. Section 2 introduces the basic modules, including the dropout mechanism, the LSTM cell, and the autoencoder framework. It then proposes the model used in this paper that combines the basic modules. Section 3 introduces the open-source dataset, the preprocessing procedure, and the implementation details of the proposed method. Section 4 discusses the results, including the proposed method and the conventional DNN model. A conventional deep neural network (DNN) consists of three parts: the input layer, the output layer, and the hidden layers. While the input layer and output layer both have a fixed number of nodes, the hidden layers can vary in size. Dropout mechanism is a regularization technique used to prevent overfitting in neural networks. It randomly drops out units during training to make the model more robust. LSTM is a type of RNN that is designed to handle long-term dependencies in data. It consists of three types of gates: input gate, output gate, and forget gate. The autoencoder framework is a neural network that is trained to attempt to copy its input to its output. It consists of two parts: the encoder and the decoder. The proposed model combines the basic modules by employing LSTM to construct the encoder and decoder module in the autoencoder framework. In the training process, channels of the inputs are randomly dropped to simulate the missing data, and the LSTM structured autoencoder model attempts to reconstruct the data of all channels. The reconstruction error is used as the loss function and the damage indicator. The proposed method is validated using the SHM for the cable tension data released in the first IPC-SHM. Deep neural networks, DNNs, consist of multiple layers of units, with the number of hidden layers defining the depth, and the number of units in each layer defining the width of the model. Units in different layers are densely connected, allowing information to flow forward from lower to upper layers. This feed-forward neural network process is represented by equation 1, where the hidden state of the LTH hidden layer is calculated using the weights, biases, and nonlinear activation function. The overall process of a DNN with L hidden layers is described in equation 2, where the predicted output is obtained by applying nonlinear functions to the input dataset. The mean square error, MSE, loss function, defined in equation 3, evaluates the prediction performance of the DNN model. The model learns to predict the target output by adjusting its parameters to minimize the loss using the backpropagation algorithm. However, deep neural networks with dense connections can suffer from overfitting due to the large parameter space. To address this, the dropout mechanism, illustrated in Figure 1b, randomly ignores some units during training to reduce connections and prevent overfitting. This is equivalent to adding unbiased noises on the hidden units and can be viewed as a type of ensemble learning. In missing data imputation tasks, the dropout mechanism can be applied to the input layers to simulate missing data and enforce the model to learn invariant patterns. This is particularly useful when the dataset has randomly missing channels, which can harm a well-trained network. Recurrent neural networks, RNNs, such as long short-term memory, LSTM, models, are designed to model temporal correlations in time series data. LSTM cells, illustrated in Figure 2c, are efficient frameworks for modeling sequence data. The updating of LSTM units and their parameters are described in equations 67. The proposed research integrates recurrent neural networks, RNNs, and autoencoders, AEs, to develop a robust damage identification model for structural health monitoring, SHM. The RNN architecture, specifically the long short-term memory (LSTM) cell, is utilized to learn temporal relationships in the monitored time series data. The LSTM cell computes the hidden state and output at each time step using the following equations. H_t equals sigma W_HH_ T1 plus UX_t plus B I_t equals sigma W_IH_ T1 plus UX_t plus B I O_t equals sigma W_OH_ T1 plus UX_t plus B O C_t equals tan H W_CH_ T1 plus UX_t plus B C H_t equals O_t tan H C_t, where sigma represents the sigmoid activation function and denotes the elementwise product of matrices. The autoencoder A framework is employed to learn compressed representations of the input data. The A consists of two modules: an encoder that maps the input data to a lower dimensional space, and a decoder that reconstructs the original input from the compressed representation. The goal is to minimize the reconstruction error, as illustrated in equation 8. The A is trained by minimizing the difference between the input and output, also known as the reconstruction error. The proposed model integrates the LSTM structured encoder and decoder modules, with linear layers added to reshape the output sizes. The model is trained on augmented data, where some channels are masked as dropout to simulate missing data occasions. This approach enables the model to learn spatiotemporal relationships among the time series data and makes it robust to missing data cases. The case study utilizes an open-source cable tension dataset from an in-service cable-stayed bridge. The dataset consists of monitoring data from 14 cables over 10 days, with a sampling frequency of 2 Hz. The proposed model is evaluated on this dataset, with one of the cables intentionally damaged and missing data occurring to 3 cables in the year 2011. The research paper presents a comprehensive analysis of cable tension monitoring in a cable-stayed bridge, utilizing a dataset of 14 cables. Figure 3 illustrates the bridge under investigation, with red cables denoting the monitored ones. The monitored cable tension time series over 1 day and in 35-second detail are shown in Figure 4, A and B, respectively, revealing low-frequency trends induced by temperature and high-frequency peaks caused by vehicles. The total monitored cable tension can be expressed as the sum of dead load, temperature, vehicle, and noise effects. The vehicle-induced cable tension is of particular interest, as it provides load test-style response information. However, due to its non-stationarity, it is challenging to isolate this term. To address this, smaller segmentations are recommended, and a violin plot is employed as a detrending technique. This method combines features of box plots and kernel density plots, displaying the distribution of a continuous variable across different levels of a categorical variable. By visualizing the data distribution, most observed data points are found near the trend, and the median value of a specified segmentation obtained from the violin plot is used as the trend term. Figure 4. C demonstrates the obtained trend term in a 30-second segmentation using the violin plot, and Figure 4, D, shows the obtained temperature-induced trend term for the whole day scale, achieved through segmentations and interpolation under the assumption of smooth temperature-induced trends. The vehicle-induced cable tension under a single vehicle can be calculated using equation 10. Where the influence surface of the vehicle on the girder is determined by the relative stiffness of stake cables and can be decoupled into influence lines on the longitudinal and transverse directions. Considering multiple vehicles on the bridge, the vehicle-induced terms of the ITH and JTH cable are expressed in equations 11. In summary, the paper proposes a method for monitoring cable tension in a cable-stayed bridge, focusing on the vehicle-induced term as a valuable indicator of load test-style response information. To decouple this term from other effects, smaller segmentations and violin plots are utilized, providing a detailed analysis of the temperature-induced trend term and its variation over time. In the research paper, the authors present a novel approach to monitoring and predicting the health of a cable group in a cable-stayed bridge by employing a deep learning model. The proposed model is an LSTM structured autoencoder, which can learn spatiotemporal relationships among the monitored data of all channels. This model is trained using a dataset of vehicle-induced cable tension, where the vehicle loads are the same, and the relations among them are related to their influence surface and relative stiffness. The training procedure involves initializing parameters, specifying batch size, input sequence length, learning rate, and employing the atom optimization algorithm. The authors also compare their LSTM structured A model with a DNN structured A model. The results show that the LSTM structured A model outperforms the DNN structured A model in terms of training performance, especially under conditions of data loss. The authors demonstrate the effectiveness of their model by predicting cable tension on November 1, 2011. 8 cable forces were actually missing in the input data, but the pre-trained LSTM structured A model was able to reconstruct the missing data and diagnose cable health based on the pre-trained agent model of the cable group's initial performance. The real cable tension value of cable SJS11 was lower than the benchmark prediction value, indicating a decrease in the actual carrying capacity of the cable and thus indicating cable damage, which is consistent with the cable state evaluation results released in 14. The LSTM structured A model can form a memory of historical data within the network, thereby extracting spatiotemporal correlation features of cable forces in the cable group. This model significantly surpasses the DNN structured A model in spatial correlation only, particularly under the missing data occasion. The research highlights the potential of deep learning models in monitoring and predicting the health of a cable group in a cable-stayed bridge, providing insights into the structural condition of the bridge and identifying potential damage or changes in the cable group. This research paper addresses the issue of missing data in structural health monitoring, SHM, and proposes a novel approach to handle such data using a dropout mechanism. The proposed method utilizes an LSTM structured autoencoder model to develop a robust baseline agent model for damage identification and other tasks, eliminating the need for traditional missing data imputation preprocessing. The study demonstrates that viewing missing data as dropped input units can significantly enhance the efficiency of SHM data processing and health diagnosis. By employing unsupervised learning representations learned from the LSTM structured A model, a many-to-many spatiotemporal mapping model for a group of cables is established. This model improves the correlationship analysis between cables within the group, allowing for more accurate damage identification and health diagnosis. The paper presents several comparative studies, including SJS08 versus SJX08, SJS09 versus SJX09, and SJS11 versus SJX11, which showcase the effectiveness of the proposed approach in identifying damaged cables. Figure 6 illustrates the prediction results of DNN and LSTM in a 50% data loss rate case, highlighting the superior performance of the LSTM structured A model. Figure 7 provides the damage identification results based on the reconstruction error, indicating that only cable SJS11 is damaged according to the standard values of the prediction error calculated using the pre-trained LSTM structured A model. This is consistent with the cable state evaluation results in the literature. The conclusion of this study emphasizes the importance of the LSTM structured A model and the dropout mechanism in loosening the requirements of data quality while achieving an accurate and robust baseline agent model. This approach has the potential to revolutionize the field of SHM by providing a more efficient and reliable method for data processing and health diagnosis, even in the presence of missing data. The authors acknowledge the financial support from the National Natural Science Foundation of China and express gratitude to the organizations of the International Project Competition for SHM, IPC-SHM 2020, for providing invaluable data from actual structures. The paper concludes with a comprehensive list of references, citing works related to structural health monitoring, machine learning, and data imputation. The references provided cover a range of topics, including condition assessment of cables, machine learning paradigms for structural health monitoring, and data anomaly detection methods. Additionally, the list includes papers on data imputation methods, such as generative adversarial networks and multimodal deep autoencoders, as well as works on time series data imputation and uncertainty quantification. Furthermore, the references include publications on deep learning, pattern recognition, and representation learning, highlighting the connections between these fields and structural health monitoring. The list also cites papers on specific techniques, such as dropout, long short-term memory, and sequence-to-sequence learning, demonstrating the author's attention to detail and commitment to providing a comprehensive overview of the relevant literature. The references also include papers on statistical pattern recognition, adversarial autoencoders, and transfer learning, showcasing the author's awareness of the broader context and their efforts to situate their work within the larger landscape of machine learning and artificial intelligence. In conclusion, the author's meticulous listing of references demonstrates their thorough understanding of the field and their commitment to providing a comprehensive and accurate account of the relevant literature. The references provide a valuable resource for researchers and practitioners in the field of structural health monitoring and machine learning, and serve as a testament to the author's dedication to scholarship and academic rigor.